We got a big transfer update for you, so don't go anywhere. West Ham will be moving aggressively in the transfer market now that Nils Koppen is in the building. The club need to reshape the squad. We need to refresh multiple areas of the pitch, and we need to build a side that is capable of dominating the EFL Championship next season. Touch wood. This story is about two major targets, two ambitious moves, and two players that potentially could transform the squad. So let's get straight into it. We're pushing forwards, it would appear, with a clear plan. We need younger, faster, more dynamic players who fit Nuno Espirito Santo's system and simultaneously Nils Koppen's recruitment philosophy. The squad are already back for pre-season training. The club's first league fixture is on the 16th of August with a League Cup fixture the week before against Portsmouth at the London Stadium. The club will want to make sure that there are multiple deals that are done early. Now, with £85 million in the bank from Matheus Fernandes' transfer to Tottenham Hotspur and several senior players who are also expected to move on, we are targeting players who can raise the ceiling of the squad immediately. And that will bring us to the first name that we're going to talk about. But if you're enjoying the content here on the West Ham Massive, if you could do us a huge favour and tap the thumbs up button, that will help spur the YouTube algorithms into life and push this out to places it otherwise might not get. If you could put a comment in the section below for all of the bits and pieces we're going to talk about, I really would appreciate that as well. That helps tremendously. Share this onto your social media platform. If you're not subscribed, there's about 60% of the viewers in the last 28 days that are not subscribed. If you can see in the top left hand corner, there is a QR code. If you get out your mobile device and scan that, it will take you to our YouTube subscription page. Subscribing is free, data safe. That only takes you a couple of seconds of your time. It merely helps to grow the channel into something bigger and better. And I'd like to thank you all because we've broken the 2,200 subscribers mark. Really do appreciate it. So let's get stuck back into it. So the first name that we're going to talk about, the first transfer target on this story we're going to talk about is already out there in the public domain. James McAtee from Nottingham Forest. Now, the story originated, as I understand it, in the Daily Mail. Other new media outlets have reported this since, but we are apparently preparing an ambitious move for James McAtee from Nottingham Forest. Now, what's really important to clarify, though, is although Nuno is a former Nottingham Forest manager and their time at Nottingham Forest did intersect at one point, it's important to remember two things. Number one, as I understand it, James McAtee was not a Nuno signing. He was actually signed by the head of recruitment at Nottingham Forest at the time, which was Edu, the former Arsenal midfielder. He drove player identification and signings. McAtee was part of that long-term squad planning. Nuno was only actually James McAtee's manager for around about 3 weeks there or thereabouts before he left Nottingham Forest. So it's important to understand that Nuno, as I understand it, didn't scout him, didn't request him, and he didn't build a tactical plan around him. He was only there 3 weeks. So he's not a Nuno favourite. So it's very likely that this signing is very probably driven by Nils Koppen. Just a few little key bits of information about McAtee, taken from Transfer Market, 23 years of age. He's left-footed attacking midfielder. He can also play central midfield and right wing. As I say, his purchase from Nottingham Forest was for £30 million. He has a contract until 2030. That could prove problematic for obvious reasons. But as far as his stats were concerned last season, he made 14 Premier League appearances. He made 10 appearances in the Europa League. He got 1 goal and 2 assists. Now, as far as his attributes are concerned, it's fair to say he's technically quite sharp, he's press resistant, and given that he's 23 years of age, he's still maturing and his peak is yet to come. He will fit the profile of player that West Ham want: energetic, a modern midfielder who can grow with the project. However, the fly in the ointment will be, as I said earlier, Nottingham Forest paid 30 million quid for him last season, and he's on a contract until 2030. So it's fair to say they're going to want a fair chunk of that back on their investment. So the question then becomes, is James McAtee actually worth the best part of a £30 million investment right now? There is talk that this may actually be a loan deal, but we'll sort of wait and see what happens on that. But as far as his attributes are concerned, as I say, I think it's fair to say he's talented, he's versatile, he does have Premier League experience, although we will be playing in the Championship. But I do also have a little bit of a concern that I don't believe he's yet proven that he can consistently deliver at the top level. If I'm being dead honest about it, I think that probably he is a player that would be decent enough at the Championship. I think my concern would be when we make the step up into the Premier League, can he cut it there? That remains to be seen. I think it's a bold move. I think it's a risky move, but it appears that it's one that we're seriously considering, if you believe the report in the Daily Mail, which some people do, some people don't. But it's also important to recognise that James McAtee isn't the only name that we're going to talk about. I said there was 2. Now, the other one I want to talk about is Simon Adingra. Simon Adingra is a 24-year-old Ivory Coast winger and he's been shining on the international stage and across Europe. A few little things about Simon Adingra. 24 years of age. He's a winger that can operate on both sides. As I say, he plays for Sunderland at the minute, Ivory Coast international with 30 caps and 5 goals. In senior football, he has 196 appearances and 43 goals. A few little things about him. In the 2023 edition of AFCON, he was voted the best young player, and he was also the man of the match in the AFCON final. He's played at the World Cup this year. He's good at dribbling. He's got explosive pace. As I say, he can play on both wings. He's two-footed, and he's got previous experience at clubs like Nordsjælland, Union St. Gilloise, Brighton, Hove Albion, Monaco, and Sunderland. Now, he's described as the kind of winger who wins games on his own, and he's got the kind of pace that terrorizes defenders. He will instantly raise the level of this squad. Now, it would appear we've already held talks with his representatives, but securing him, make no mistake, won't be straightforward because Monaco want him back on loan. Roma are monitoring, as are RB Leipzig, Ipswich and Hull, who are both, in their case, two newcomers to the Premier League from the Championships themselves. Now, Sunderland know that they've got a prized asset, so they're not going to let him go cheaply either. But if we pull it off, I believe this could be one of the signings of the summer. And I think it will send a key underlining message. We are building a team that is planning to dominate the EFL Championship this season. Now, as far as McAtee and Adingra are concerned, they are the headline names, but we're also looking at Gustavo Sarr. He's the player that I spoke about yesterday. Well, by the time you see it, it'll be 2 days ago, but he's the player, and he's widely expected to be announced in the next day or two. Martin Adline is another name that's still bubbling around, as well as Dwight McNeil and Mario Cozier Duberry. Now, it's widely believed that the club, as things stand at the minute, want at least 2 wingers, 1 midfielder, 1 centre-back, and potentially a striker, depending upon outgoing business. So this is a proper squad refresh. It's not some patchwork short-term fix, but a long-term build with players who can grow into the next era of West Ham United. So the question is simple. Can we actually land these players? McAtee will, as I say, cost a fair chunk of change if it's going to be a permanent deal. It may well be a loan, but if we're going to make it permanent, as I say, Nottingham Forest paid 30 million quid for him last season, and he's on a contract till 2030. Adingra, as I say, he already has multiple clubs chasing him. Now, also, as I say, the other 2 options are McNeil and Cozier Duberry. As far as McNeil's concerned, I think he would be ideal for the Championship. I, again, have concerns about would he be up to the grade if we make the step up to the Premier League. Cozier Duberry, to be honest with you, I know less about, but apparently he has options as well. But remember, we have the Fernandes money. We have now a clear recruitment strategy. We have a manager who appears to want these deals to be done early. We need immediate upgrades in the squad. And I believe that to prospective young players that are looking to come into this club, it will be a project that is attractive to them. Now, make no mistake about it. We need to get this window right. We need to have no excuses, no panic buys, no last-minute scrambles, which is something we've experienced many, many times in the past. This is the moment to build a team with pace, power, and Premier League level quality, even though we're a Championship club, and we need to make sure we get it done before the season starts. So that's the latest. West Ham are pushing for James McAtee, and we're looking to get Simon Adingra over a line. Edu signed midfielder in the case of James McAtee, and a marquee winger with an elite upside in the case of Adingra. We're finally showing some real ambition in the market. Now, before you head off, if you appreciate the content, as I say, if you could just tap the like button, I really would appreciate that. That gets this content out to other places it otherwise might not get. Get your comments in the section below about McAtee and Adingra, and also make sure that if you're not subscribed to the channel, in the top left-hand corner, you get out your mobile device and you scan that QR code. Well, it's over there. Anyway, scan that QR code. That will take you to our YouTube subscription page. Subscribing is free of charge. We don't get any data-sensitive information. It just helps to grow the channel into something bigger and better than what you find it, and it takes a couple of seconds of your time. So there's no problems there. What's not to like? Get your comments in the section below, and even consider sharing this onto your social media platforms. I'm going to disappear. I'll see you next time. Come on, you Irons.